Mounjaro. It's the blockbuster drug that, let's be honest, everyone is talking about. But if you look past all the hype, what's it really like to be on it? Today, we're diving into the benefits, the risks, and the things that no one seems to mention. You've probably seen these incredible claims all over the internet, right? People reporting they've lost a staggering 25 pounds. And we're talking in just a single month. But is that rapid, almost unbelievable weight loss the whole story? Let's dig in and take a closer look at what this drug actually is. So, what is Mounjaro, really? Well, it's a weekly shot that hits two different gut hormone receptors, GIP and GLP-1. And that 1-2 punch is what makes it so incredibly powerful. It literally slows down how fast your stomach empties, which keeps you feeling full longer, while also sending signals to your brain that you're satisfied. It's a game changer for appetite control.
Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with why Mounjaro is such a phenomenon in the first place. Then we'll walk you through what to expect in your first few weeks and get into the real user experience, the good and the bad. After that, we have to talk about the serious hidden risks, how to actually make the drug work for you, and finally, this really unexpected mental shift that so many people report.
All right, first up, the Mounjaro phenomenon. Let's get into why this drug basically exploded onto the scene and what it's technically for. Okay, so this is a really critical point you gotta understand. Mounjaro is only officially FDA approved to treat type 2 diabetes. Its massive popularity for weight loss, that's what's called off-label use. And this isn't just a technical detail, it's a huge deal because it often means your insurance company will flat out refuse to cover the sky-high cost if you're only taking it for weight loss. So, let's say you decide to start. What can you actually expect? Let's break down that adjustment period you'll go through in the first few weeks. The whole process is designed to be super gradual, and that's to help your body get used to it. You'll start on a really low weekly dose, just 2.5 milligrams. Then, about every 4 weeks, your doctor will bump it up. This slow and steady increase is called titration, and it's absolutely key to letting your body adjust. And that adjustment period, it's so important. Because look, a pretty big chunk of people, we're talking up to 40%, run into some not-so-fun gastrointestinal side effects like nausea and diarrhea. It usually hits right after you start or when you go up a dose. But for most people, it does get better over time. Okay, so that's the clinical side. But what's the real story? For that, we've got to look at what actual users are saying on social media and forums. It tells a much more complete story. For a lot of people, the results are, absolutely life-changing. You see them call it a miracle, saying it finally felt like it recalibrated their brain and just turned off those constant cravings that made losing weight feel impossible before. But, and this is a big but, it is not a miracle for everyone, especially right at the start. For some people, those first few weeks are a real battle. This person's experience is pretty common. Reports of some pretty severe side effects that only start to fade once their body has had a few weeks to adapt. And then you have the elephant in the room, the price tag. If your insurance won't touch it because you're using it for weight loss, the out-of-pocket cost can be just staggering. We're talking well over $1,000 for a single month's supply. Okay, now we need to get serious for a minute and talk about the risks that you definitely won't see front and center in all the splashy ads. So beyond the nausea and things like that, there are some rare but very severe risks you have to know about. Mounjaro has what's called a boxed warning, and you need to know that's the FDA's most serious kind of warning. This is for a risk of thyroid tumors, which was seen in animal studies. There are also documented risks of pancreatitis, gallbladder problems, and even kidney injury, especially if the side effects lead to you getting severely dehydrated. And this has led some really savvy patients to basically take matters into their own hands. This user, for instance, recommends being proactive about it, getting regular thyroid ultrasounds, just to stay ahead of any potential issues. So with all that in mind, how do you get the most out of this while staying safe? Well, the key thing to remember is that this drug is an incredibly powerful tool, but it is not a magic cure. It still requires you to make real lifestyle changes. The people who have the most long-term success, they often adopt a balanced way of eating that looks a whole lot like this. They're filling half their plate with fruits and veggies, and then splitting the other half between lean protein and whole grains. It's not about a crash diet, it's about building a sustainable way to eat. And here are some really practical tips that come straight from people who've been there. Because the drug makes you feel full so much faster, eating slowly becomes absolutely essential. Focusing on protein and fiber helps you stay full, and drinking a ton of water is critical for managing those potential side effects. All right, last but not least, let's get into what might be the most profound and honestly the least discussed effect of Mounjaro, what it does to your mind. So many users describe this incredible psychological shift. They talk about the silencing of something that they've started calling food noise. And what is food noise? It's that relentless, nonstop internal chatter, the constant thinking about what you're going to eat next, the cravings, the planning, the guilt. For so many people, Mounjaro just turns the volume all the way down or off completely, and it makes healthy choices feel natural for the very first time. This mental quiet can bring this incredible sense of freedom, and some people even report it improves their mood and anxiety. But on the flip side, it can bring up a whole new set of challenges, like worrying about what happens if you stop taking the drug, or just navigating the really complex emotions of a changing body image. It just goes to show how important mental support is on this journey. So this leaves us with the million-dollar question, right? Is Mounjaro a tool that can trigger a permanent metabolic lifestyle reset, or is it more of a temporary fix that you have to stay on forever? The answer probably depends on the work you put in to build lasting habits while you've got its incredible support.